You are watching Shadowen, where the stories are real, and the fear is too. I'm honestly having a hard time even looking at my phone right now, after reading what happened in the glitch in the porch light. Like, I don't even want to check my notifications. So, I'm 26, right? I live in this crappy one-bedroom in Columbus, Ohio. The kind of place where the walls are so thin, you can hear your neighbor, Mr. Henderson, cough through the drywall. It's gross. Anyway, I'm a total tech nerd. Not the cool kind. The kind that buys cheap smart home crap from Amazon just to see if I can make it work. I got this knockoff Ring doorbell thing for like 20 bucks. It was called Secure-Eye or something stupid. It came in a box that looked like it had been kicked across the Pacific Ocean. I spent like 3 hours trying to mount it because I didn't have a drill, so I used these heavy-duty command strips. I remember it was a Tuesday. I was eating these stale flamin' hot Cheetos, the ones that turn your fingers stained red for like 3 days, and I finally got the app to sync. The camera quality sucked. It was all grainy and had this weird green tint, like an old Game Boy. But whatever, it worked. About a week later, I started getting these motion-detected alerts at exactly 3:14 a.m. every single night. The first time, I figured it was a stray cat, or maybe Mr. Henderson was out for a midnight smoke. I checked the footage, but it was just empty. Just my empty porch, the peeling gray paint on the railing, and the flickering street lamp across the street. I didn't think much of it. My internet is trash, so I figured it was just a lag or a bug in the software. But then, on the fourth night, I actually stayed up. I was playing some MMO and lost track of time. My phone buzzed on the desk next to a half-empty can of lukewarm Monster. 3:14 a.m. I opened the app. The video feed was chugging, like maybe 2 frames per second. And there I was. I saw myself on the porch. I was sitting in my computer chair, literally inside my apartment, but on the screen, I was standing at my own front door. I recognized the shirt. It was my gray hoodie with the bleach stain on the sleeve from when I tried to clean the bathroom. On the screen, I was just standing there, not moving, not knocking, just staring directly into the camera lens with this expression that, man, it wasn't right. It was like a mask of my face that didn't fit quite right. The eyes were too wide, and the jaw was just hanging open like it was unhinged. I felt this ice-cold spike go down my spine. I looked at my own hands. I was right here. I looked at the door. It was locked. I could hear the fridge humming in the kitchen, that annoying rattling sound it makes because the fan is loose. I looked back at the phone. The me on the screen started to move. He didn't walk. It was more like he glided, or like the video was skipping frames. He leaned in until his face took up the whole screen. His skin looked like wet paper. And then he started to whisper. There was no audio on my cheap camera, but I could see his lips moving. He was saying my social security number. I threw the phone across the room. It hit the wall and the screen cracked. I didn't sleep. I sat in the corner of my living room with a kitchen knife until the sun came up. When I finally got the courage to go outside, the camera was gone. Not stolen, gone. Like, the command strips were still there, but they weren't even peeled. It was like the camera had never been attached to them. I checked my phone, but the app was gone too. Not uninstalled, just not there. I still live here. I can't afford to move because my car's transmission just blew, and that cost me $2,000. But every night, at exactly 3:14 a.m., The light under my front door flickers. Just once. I don't look through the peephole anymore. I just turn up the volume on my TV and pray the sun comes up fast. I've started sleeping in the bathtub because it's the only room without a window. You are watching Shadowen, where the stories are real, and the fear is too. This next one is just, it's a lot. This guy sent in a story he calls The Static in the Smart Speaker. And I'm honestly thinking about throwing my Alexa in the trash after this. Okay, so I'm a freelancer. I do graphic design stuff, mostly logos for lawn care companies and stuff like that. I spend a lot of time alone in my apartment in Pittsburgh. It's a decent place, but the landlord is a cheapskate, and the heater sounds like a jet engine taking off. To keep from losing my mind, I bought one of those Echo Dots. You know, the little puck things. I used it for everything. Timers for my ramen, playing lo-fi beats, asking about the weather. It was fine for months. Then I got this really bad flu. Like 103-degree fever, sweating through my sheets, seeing spots kind of flu. I was basically living on the couch for a week, surrounded by Gatorade bottles and crumpled tissues. I was so out of it, I couldn't even tell if I was awake or dreaming half the time. One night, around 2 a.m., I woke up because the echoes started talking. Usually, when you trigger it, the blue ring lights up, right? This time, the ring was red. A deep, angry red I'd never seen before. It wasn't the "I'm muted" red. It was pulsing, like a heartbeat. And it wasn't the Alexa voice. It sounded like a recording of a recording. It was a woman's voice, very faint, under a layer of heavy static. She was crying. Not like a "I'm sad" cry, but a "someone is hurting me" scream cry. I was shaking, probably from the fever, and I croaked out, "Alexa, stop." The voice didn't stop. It got louder. The static started to sound like teeth grinding together. I reached out to unplug the thing, but my hand felt like it was moving through molasses. Then the speaker said my name. David. It didn't sound like a robot. It sounded like my mother. My mother died in a car wreck back in 2014 on I-95. She said, "David, why didn't you help me?" I fell off the couch, hitting my head on the coffee table. I had this sharp pain behind my eyes, probably from the sinus pressure, but it felt like a needle. I crawled over to the wall and ripped the cord out of the outlet. The red light stayed on. It stayed on for 10 minutes, completely unplugged. The voice kept talking, but it wasn't my mom anymore. It was just a rhythmic, wet, thumping sound, followed by the sound of someone eating something crunchy. Like someone was chewing on a bag of ice, or maybe bone. I dragged myself into the hallway and locked the door. I stayed there until morning. When I finally went back in, the speaker was just sitting there, cold and dead. I took it to the dumpster outside. I didn't just throw it in. I took a hammer to it first. I smashed it until it was just plastic bits and green circuit boards.
Help me.
While I was doing it, I noticed something. Inside the casing, tucked right next to the microphone, there was a clump of hair. Human hair. It was gray and brittle, tangled around the wiring. I haven't bought a new one. I don't even like using my phone's GPS anymore. I keep thinking about how many microphones are in my house right now. The laptop, the TV, the fridge. They're all listening. and I keep hearing that wet, crunching sound every time the apartment gets too quiet. I've started leaving the faucet dripping just so there's some other noise. You are watching Shadowen, where the portions are real. Wait, no. Where the stories are real. Sorry. This next one, the files on Drive E, is really messing with my head. I need to take a breather after this. So I'm a bit of a bargain hunter. I go to estate sales and thrift stores looking for old tech to flip or refurbish. Last month, I found this old, beefy desktop tower at a garage sale in a suburb outside of Philly. The guy selling it looked like he hadn't slept since the 90s. He sold it to me for $50, including the monitor. I got it home and hooked it up in my spare room. It was running an old version of Windows, totally bloated with junk. I was going to just wipe the drive and install Linux, but I got curious. I always check the files first, just in case there's something cool or some old photos I should save for the previous owner. The C drive was mostly just system files and some old games like Sims 2. But there was a second partition, the E drive, labeled Backup. It was full of folders, thousands of them, all named with dates. I clicked on one from 2019. Inside were hundreds of .jpg files. I opened one. It was a photo of a kitchen. It took me a second to realize it was my kitchen. The angle was weird, like it was taken from inside the ceiling fan. I could see the pile of mail I'd left on the counter. I could see the half-eaten pizza box from the night before. I scrolled through the photos. They were all of my house. But here's the thing. I only moved into this house 6 months ago. These photos were dated 3 years ago. I felt this weird, hot buzzing in my ears. I opened a folder from 2021. More photos. These were of the bedroom. My bedroom. They were taken from inside the vent. In some of them, someone was sleeping in the bed. It wasn't me. It was a woman with long, dark hair. She looked terrified in her sleep, like she was having a permanent nightmare. I kept scrolling, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I found a folder named Live. I double-clicked it. A video window popped up. It was a live feed. The camera was positioned behind me, right now. I could see the back of my own head on the monitor. I could see the screen of the computer inside the video, creating this infinite loop of me looking at the screen. I froze. I didn't want to turn around. My neck felt like it was made of glass. In the video, a door opened behind me. The closet door. I don't use that closet. It's where I keep my extra blankets and a vacuum that doesn't work. A hand reached out from the darkness of the closet. It was pale, thin, with fingernails that were yellow and cracked. The hand reached toward my shoulder. I didn't turn around. I just bolted. I ran out of the room, out of the house, and didn't stop until I was at a gas station 3 blocks away. I called the cops, but what was I supposed to tell them? My computer is showing a ghost in my closet? They came anyway. They searched the house. They found nothing. No one in the closet. No cameras in the vents or the ceiling fan. When we went back to the computer, the E drive was empty. Not wiped, just empty. The backup label was gone. It was just an unallocated partition. I sold the computer to a scrapyard the next day. I don't care about the $50. I don't care about the monitor. I've been staying at a Motel 6 for the last week. I can't go back there. Every time I see a computer screen, I feel like I'm looking at a window into a room where I'm not supposed to be. and I can still feel that cold, yellow-nailed hand hovering just an inch away from my neck. My skin feels greasy no matter how much I shower. You are watching Shadowen, where the stories are real, and the fear is too. I don't really want to read this last one. It's titled The Coordinates to Nowhere, and it's unsettling. I think I'm gonna go for a walk after this, or maybe just sit in the dark for a while. This happened to me last October. I live in rural West Virginia, where the cell service is basically non-existent, and the roads all look the same after a while. I was driving home from my sister's place. It was late, maybe midnight, and I was exhausted. I'd spent the day helping her move furniture, and my back was killing me.
I was using a third-party GPS app called Wayfinder because Google Maps kept glitching out in the mountains. Wayfinder was supposed to have better offline maps. About 20 miles from home, the app chirped. Recalculating. It told me to take a left onto a dirt road I'd never noticed before. I figured it was a shortcut. The road was narrow, flanked by thick pines that looked like they were leaning in to crush the car. My headlights were dim. I've been meaning to get them replaced, but money's tight since the mill closed down. The app said, "In 500 yards, you will reach your destination." I thought that was weird. My house was still 10 miles away. I kept driving, thinking maybe it was just a glitch. The road started to get steeper, the gravel turning into mud. My tires were spinning, and the smell of burning rubber started to fill the cabin. "You have arrived," the app said. Its voice sounded different. Less like a woman and more like a drone, a flat mechanical buzz. I stopped the car. I was in the middle of a clearing. There was nothing there, just mud and dead trees. I looked at the phone. The map showed a red dot exactly where I was, but the name of the location was just a string of coordinates. I tried to turn the car around, but the engine stalled. Just died. I turned the key. Nothing. Not even a click. Then my phone screen started to flicker. It wasn't showing the map anymore. It was showing a text file. Lines and lines of code scrolling past at light speed. And then it stopped on a single sentence. "Do not look in the rear-view mirror." I'm an idiot. What's the first thing you do when someone tells you not to look? You look. I looked. In the back seat of my car, there was a man. But he wasn't solid. He looked like he was made of static, like an old TV channel that didn't have a signal. He was vibrating. I could hear it, a low-frequency hum that made my teeth ache. He didn't have a face,
Just a blur of gray and white pixels where his features should be. He was holding a phone. He pointed it at me. My own phone, the one on the dashboard, took a photo. The flash blinded me for a second. When my vision cleared, the back seat was empty. The car started right up. I didn't wait. I floored it, fishtailing through the mud until I hit the main road. I didn't look back once. I didn't stop until I was in my driveway with the doors locked and the porch light on. I deleted Wayfinder immediately. But the next morning, I found a new photo in my gallery. It was a picture of me. From the moment the flash went off, I was screaming. But in the photo, behind me, there wasn't just one static man. The entire back seat was packed with them. 6 or 7 of them, all leaning forward, all holding phones, all taking pictures of me. I traded my smartphone for an old Nokia flip phone the next day. I don't use GPS anymore. I carry a paper map like it's 1995. But sometimes, when I'm driving at night, I feel the temperature in the car drop, and I can hear that low, humming static coming from the empty seats behind me. I'm pretty sure they're still taking pictures. I'm pretty sure I'm just a file in some database now, and one day, they're going to hit delete. Subscribe to Shadowen, if you're brave enough to come back. I think I'm done for tonight. I'm done.